Hey music friends, this is Davi Vasc. I'm a music composer for games, and today for the first time in the history of this channel we're gonna listen to and talk about some Ghost of Tsushima music. And this one is the Battle for Iki Island. So, let's go. I'm excited for this one, man. People have been recommending. People have been recommending Ghost of Tsushima music. Very tense, very tense. Oh. Amazing, yeah, the Japanese percussions. That's what I was expecting, you know. Exactly, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Shakuhachi. Amazing, man. There's so much emotion in this. And I have to say, I was just saying, it's what I expected in the sense that there's a lot of Japanese instruments, of course, natural. At the beginning there was a koto, which is a kind of Japanese harp, sort of. Then there's the shakuhachi, the flute. There's the taiko drums, these heavy wooden percussions. But despite all that I expected, this theme so far surprises me in the sense that it feels very Hollywood-like and more Western than I expected, which I guess makes sense. Makes sense because as far as I know, this is a Western game, isn't it? It's a Western game about Japan. It's not a Japanese game about Japan. I was expecting a more purely Japanese sound, like for example Sekiro. Remember, Sekiro music was very, very purely Japanese. There wasn't any of this like dramatic Hollywood-like strings with like a lot of drama, a lot of emotion to them. But again, makes sense because this is a Western game. I think it is. Yeah, and this is the koto, right? And these intervals that he's using, this is a scale that is very appropriate for battles, for tense moments. It's very common on battle themes for games. You can even, I don't know why this is the thing of all things that I remember now, but for example in Pokemon, this is like the trademark of Pokemon, right? Da-na, da-na-na-na. This semitone here, this small interval up here, very characteristic of battles, very appropriate for battles, and that's the same thing that they're using here. Yeah, so now you know that Ghost of Tsushima uses the same scale, the same sequence of chords as Pokemon. Yeah, and this is the Hollywood part. The ostinatos. Ostinato is a very Hollywood thing. So emotional. This part feels like a moment of introspection, of quiet emotion in the middle of battle, right? There's a longing, there's a suffering to it. And of course, very appropriately, there's almost like a march rhythm, right? and they're just holding this, building up. Oh, amazing. He did this. This jump from here to here. Man, it feels like such a cry of suffering, such an outburst of emotion. In melodies, when you have big jumps like this, from very distant notes, especially if it's from a lower note to a higher note, it creates such an outburst of emotion. Very appropriate here for what I feel like is a dramatic part of this battle theme. You know, there are different ways to tackle battle themes. I was just mentioning Pokemon, which is a very cartoony depiction of conflict. This game, from what I've seen, is very realistic. So of course they have to show other realistic facets of combat. There's the suffering, there's the cries of anguish, right? There's the longing, there's the I want to listen to that melody again. And while that melody is playing, there's the march rhythm on the background, right? Creating a sense of duty. And this is more, again, more Hollywood. Brass. Oh, super disturbing. Crazy. Wait, let me listen to this again. So they're doing like a little effect on the strings, like a rising slide on the strings to create a sort of unnerving feeling of something that is non-musical, is like just noise, which is, I guess, is trying to portray like the noisy, the chaotic nature of battle. But let me see what they're doing here. It's coming. So disturbing. It almost sounds like, I almost want to say, sounds like horse. How do you say, what's the word for when the horse does the, you know, the horse sound? I forget. But it also sounds like, almost like human screams as well. And the way they are achieving this chaotic, disturbing sound is by basically, they're doing a slide up on the strings, and they're doing a tremolo on the strings. But the key here is that this is an unmeasured tremolo, which means that each member of the orchestra, each member of the string section is just doing its own thing, is just doing the tremolo. You know what a tremolo is, right? Is when the string player grabs the bow and does like this really fast. They're doing like in an unorganized way. So each one is doing like in its own tempo, and it creates a sensation of disorganization and chaos. Almost sounds like screams, right? And horse sounds. And meanwhile, man, why can't I stop talking about Pokemon? Meanwhile, they're doing the Pokemon thing. They're doing the exact Pokemon interval. Right? Is the battle interval. It's just so tense. Oh. So good, man. This melody is so good. Oh. Again. So huge, man. Did you hear that percussion? Sounds huge. Oh my god. I can't wait to see what this battle looks like. This track was suggested on Patreon by Paul Dussault. Hooray, Paul Dussault. And hey, if you have a track that you love from a game that you love, do like Paul did. Get on Patreon, share that track with me over there so that I can share it with the world. That's the whole point of this channel anyway, to share the music from the games that we love with each other. So remember, whenever you're ready to spread your wings and go on a music journey again, I'll see you there.